somebody is when they start doing the right thing, I'm going to back off and I'm going to kind of say good job. It was just like with Jen. I haven't covered her. I don't talk about her because she's not doing any of that stuff anymore, you know? So I did the same thing with Shaun. You know, I stopped covering him. I would go into his lives. A bunch of us would go in there. We would throw him gifts, you know, all that stuff. And he actually seemed very happy when he was doing that. People were going into his lives and, you know, were having great conversations and all that. And then I want to say in September or so, he was in my live and he went into another live and he started trashing me. And it was just very strange. I don't think he really understood what was going on in the other live. So he started saying some stuff about me in there, which was weird. And then he came back in to my live like he wanted a pat on the back or something for what he did. And, you know, obviously myself and everybody that was watching the other live was kind of like, what the hell is he doing? So when he came in, one of my mods blocked him, which I have absolutely no problem with because my mods are fantastic. When they feel like there is a threat to my platform or for me, they take action, and I have no problem with my mods doing that. The problem with Shaun is, you know, Shaun does not like when people block him, especially when a woman blocks him from a live or a woman talks down to him. And he took that very, very, very seriously. And from that point on, he started posting his Cash App again, saying it was because of me. When we all know it was because Shaun realized he can't make it on his own without getting money on social media. I mean, he's been doing it for so long. We've heard about all the stories that Paula has said. And, you know, the track record is there. So I started covering him again, started making posts about him, and January rolls around this year, and he's in his car, and I think at that point he was in South Carolina or something. And he said that he had my personal information, and he was going to sell it to the highest bidder. Throughout the months, January, February, March, he continued to say that multiple times. And I have all those audio clips of him doing it. And, you know, was I very concerned? You know, honestly, I didn't think Shaun would do something like that. I mean, he's done a lot of crappy things, but I really didn't think he would go as far as to put my information out there. I really didn't think so. You know, on TikTok, it doesn't matter if you're in awareness or not. I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff going on this app recently. People calling each other names, doing all this stuff. And unfortunately, that's part of social media now, you know. The whole thing with Thomas, you know, he went in that Thomas had made some videos about me. And, you know, there was no other reason for him to go in there except to stir the pot. And I also have those screenshots. And he said he was going to give the information to Thomas. Was I ever concerned about Thomas? Not really, because I knew where he was located all the time. And I knew he didn't have the ways or means to come to Connecticut. There was no way. You know, a little of me was concerned, but not really. So, you know, I took that whole thing with Thomas as it was. And then, of course, Thomas passed away and he came back to life again, whatever. He's still out there. I know where he is. Not a big deal. So bringing it now to current day. And this is the part I did not know. And I found out about this when I was live earlier. TikTok shop sells miracles. Exactly. Last night, a couple things happened. Number one, I'm going to be in post. Exactly the time, especially when it's after an hour, 1 hour ago. But, you don't know, there's 60 minutes tacked onto that somewhere. So, the best guesstimate you have is it was between this hour and this hour. So, Shaun made a post somewhere between 9 and 9:45 last night on his page. Now I'm going to read it to you. Ugh. I'll post a picture of it, but you can't read it. It's too small, okay? So what the post says, I'm going to put my phone down for a minute so I can read it. It says, let me get it here. This person puts people down because she thinks that she is always right. I'm glad her wife cheated on her, which she didn't, and I'll talk about that. Couldn't have happened to a better person. It's absolutely BS that when someone talks in such a way about someone, gets to skirt. Remember, the great guy, but will make it a point to get you bananaed again. I'm sick of these PCK people. I don't know what PCK means. If somebody knows what that is. PCK people thinking they can continue to talk trash about people with no regards to the safety of the people they talk about. So why would we care anything that happens to you? Well, you made your choice in your life. Now, interesting enough, after that happened, let me find... I'll show it here. It's probably easier. I looked on my account, and this account came up. Notice the time here. This was 9:52 last night. The post he made about, it doesn't really matter, we don't care what happens to you, talking about safety and all that. This account came into my some of my videos and posted comments under my videos with my full name and my address on it. So obviously I immediately blocked the person, and all of the comments that they made disappeared, which is exactly what I wanted. So the timing is kind of weird, right? That he threatened me, and then within the same 20 minutes, 25 minutes, this account, which is a burner account, doxes me in some of my videos. So that's weird, right? I mean, the timing is impeccable. The next thing that happened was this morning in his live, I was watching. And if you heard him at the beginning of his live, he was fuming. He was fuming. He was swearing, very angry, pissed off, all that stuff. Hour into his live, and let me make this really clear. Shaun is the only one who knew what my address was. I reached out to him to help him out, get money so he could get gas for his car so he could leave Maine to get medical help. I sent him the $80 and I sent him 20 extra because he was saying he was going out, and I gave him $20 extra. And I said, doing something positive, this is how it comes back to me. Okay. So this morning in his live, Unstable puts my and she wrote it 3 times. It was like Amy, 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 so sad, something like that. So about a minute later, Shaun says, Unstable, message me. So he pauses, and they must have been, I don't know it. I don't know why it's lagging because I've got a lot of bars right here. He came back online. He came back on live, and within 5 minutes, reset is okay. Good. I'll wait a few minutes to finish the story that I was in the middle of there because I don't want people to miss the timeline of events that happened. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I'm sure they are. And again, welcome in digital. Yep. So getting back to what I was saying, Shaun said to Unstable, message me. So his favorited live pauses. For about 30 seconds, he comes back on. He doesn't say anything. And within 5 minutes, a user account with my first and last name comes on and puts my address in there. Now, Shaun acted as if he didn't know what was going on. He said my name and acting like he doesn't know how to pronounce it. Acts like the address is something he's never seen. And then he says, oh, well, wait a minute. How do I know that address? That's weird. I've seen that somewhere. Yeah. He's a bad actor in a lot of ways. So, obviously I saw that, and unfortunately what has been happening on social media is putting people's personal information out is becoming the norm, which I have never agreed with since I started on this app. Creators can put out all or no information about their lives. It's up to them to do that. It's their information. So whatever they're willing to put out is what they put out. And it's not up to anybody else to put anything more than that. But we have seen the culture on this app, unfortunately, has changed, where if people don't play by the rules of TikTok, meaning, Shaun's called me names, I've called him names, that's about it. It's never upset me. Obviously, it has upset this one on my screen because he complains about it all the time. Complains that I've said he has no neck. He brings that up all the time, which is really weird that that's something that bothers him. But again, he brought that up today, which is weird. So after, that information was put out there, there were people going in there saying that, it's wrong to dox people. He claimed he had nothing to do with it. He knows nothing about it. But again, Shaun was the only one that had my information on this app. Nobody else did. Back in January, I went to the police department with that first video he made from in his car saying that he was going to sell my information. I want to say that was the end of January, probably around the 27th, 26th of January, somewhere around there. So when I went there, I opened up a report on him because I said to the officer, I just want to get a report. I want to make a report. I want to upload the proof I have of him doing this. And, I don't know if he's going to put my information out there, but he may. So I talked to him about the doxing laws in Connecticut. And indeed, it is illegal to put somebody's private information out on social media electronically. And, what we decided at that point was to keep all the information there. And if it went ahead and my information was put out on social media, since he's the only one who had it, he was going to be found culpable of it. And with that happening last night, in the comments of some of my videos, with him threatening in the post he made last night, and then with it appearing in his chat today, that's all the information I needed. So I have recordings of his lives today where that information came up. I have screenshots of the information last night that was put in the video chats. I have the name of the account, and I have the screenshot of his account and what he said last night. So, I'm not going to when you get to be older, I come from a generation where I don't threaten. I let the criminal justice system take care of it. I will give them everything that they need, and they can take care of it at this point. So now that I know where he lives, because a number of people sent me information of where he's living. So now that I have that, I'm just not quite sure about the apartment number. I'm not going to put don't put his address or anything in my chat. I don't want that out there. Nobody needs to know where anybody lives. Okay? I'm not going to put that information out. I need to know what apartment number he's in. That's all I need. Because one of the things that when I spoke with the police officer, that the police officer said is that, what he said, what's his address? And I said, I don't know, because he's living in his car. This was back in January. And he said, well, that would be tough to file criminal charges against somebody if they don't have a physical address. We all know now that he has a physical address. So, in a way, I'm glad for him he got his apartment, because now I know where he is. So, another couple things that he said today in his live that I also made clips of. He lied today in his live because he said that he was in my live last night and he said, oh, well, when I was in there, I remember somebody putting her personal information in the chat with her address in there. What he didn't know was that back in February, I blocked certain words in my chat. I blocked, when he first threatened to dox my name and all that, I blocked all of that stuff. I blocked those words. I blocked any word that had to do with where I lived. The town, my first name, last name, family names, any of that stuff. So if anybody tries to put that stuff in there, words were blocked due to security reasons or whatever. So he lied about that. So he already screwed himself over with that. He didn't see it anywhere. So I got that on a recording because that's just a lie. Today, one of his former mods came in here and said who it was that did it. And why did she say it? Because she said he went too far and that it's out of control. So there is a line. There is a line in the sand that people, regardless of if you agree with somebody or not, once somebody crosses that line, everybody knows. Everybody knows that he went too far. People that support him, people that don't support him, people that don't like me. Many of us on this app feel like I do, where doxing should not happen. And then when you think of the doxing, he's made slanderous comments about myself, my son, my family. In that post he made last night, he said that my wife is cheating on me. I told her that, and she did have some questions. First of all, who is this person? Because she's interested. She wanted to know, is it like something on the side or is it like a permanent thing? She needs details. She wants to know what the age is, everything like that. She said anywhere from like 45 to 60 is cool. So, Shaun, if there's anybody you know like that, reach out to me. And, the only other thing she wants to know, is it like a side thing or is it like permanent? So just let me know about that. That was just ridiculous. I mean, Tiff, Shaun put in a video that my wife cheated on me. So, yeah. So a couple things as I did my research today. In Texas, doxing involves gathering and publicly posting an individual's personally identifiable information, such as their home address, phone number, or email address without their permission, with the intent to cause harm. Penalties for doxing. The first offense is up to 6 months in jail and a $2,000 fine. Subsequent offenses up to 1 year in jail and a $4,000 fine. So what I'm going to be doing is going back to the police station tomorrow, and there are 2 offenses now that I have where I'm on live, Meg.
Okay, never mind.
Wait, let me pause. Hold on, guys. So he has 2 offenses right now of doxing my information. One in the comments where my information was posted, and on his live today. So those would be 2 offenses, up to 1 year in jail and a $4,000 fine. So there's that. In Connecticut, the laws are similar, so I need to find out exactly what state it would be. In Connecticut, doxing or publishing someone's personal information online without their permission is considered a crime under the state stalking law, and can result in a Class A misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail and or a fine of $2,000. Connecticut stalking law specifically for doxing addresses the act of using electronic or social media to disclose personal identifiable information. So that's where it is in terms of the legal things. Now, listen, do I deny that I've called Shaun names? Absolutely not. Absolutely I have, 100%. But having your feelings hurt is not a crime. Especially when he comes right back with it. Calling people's names are not a crime. If it was, there would be no kids playing out at recess. They would all be in the principal's office in handcuffs. It's like Andrea said today, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. That's how we all grew up. But for some reason, this gentleman on my screen feels as though if you call him names, that's considered stalking and harassing. I suggest this gentleman look up the definition of stalking and harassing, because what I have done to you doesn't even reach the levels of that. But indeed, what you've done the last 24 hours is absolutely doxing. So that's what happened, along with Shaun likes to say that he's much smarter than we think he is. I would say no, because when he started doing this last night, he didn't realize there were timestamps on things. He didn't realize that one of his mods was going to let me know exactly who was behind it and what the plan was. He didn't consider that before he did this. And again, the biggest thing he didn't consider is the fact that nobody, and I mean nobody on this app, had my information except for Shaun. So, absolutely 100% tomorrow around noon, I will be heading to my local police department. I will be reopening that case. I will be giving them the new information, what has happened last night and today. I will be uploading the video clips and the screenshots through their online services where you can upload, proof of what's going on. And when the officer says tomorrow, what do you want to do about this? I am going to say that I want to press charges on him for doxing. It's as simple as that. Oh, good. I'm glad he's live. It's as simple as that. It's not, I'm not messing around with it. I'm going to let the police department take care of it now that I know his address, now that I know what city he's in. I would still like to, if somebody has his phone number, I would like to have his new phone number because I would like the police to call him and talk to him. Oh, Kite Girl, I am not concerned, believe me. You know, the thing that I want you guys to think about, okay? It's not that I'm concerned about my safety. I think that you've seen how many people have been doxxed on this app, okay? There have been tons of people doxxed, people that we know. Dora's been doxxed, T has been doxxed, Rem has been doxxed. Everybody's been doxxed on this app, okay? Has anything happened? Scams, you've been doxxed. Has anything happened to them physically? No. Am I concerned about that? Absolutely not. What I'm concerned about is I'm concerned with the amount of people on this app that thinks it's okay to do something like this. I'm concerned that too many people think it's okay to break the law. And it's done all the time. From day one, when he threatened this in January, I made it very clear back then that I went to the police station. And I made it very clear that I even put the case number. I posted that in a post I made. I was very clear and I was very upfront and I was very transparent about what I did. I wasn't hiding, but I wasn't lying about anything. I told everybody that I opened a file on Shaun because he did this and because he threatened this. And as I knew, unfortunately, at some point, the information would come out. And it did today. And he's going to be held accountable because nobody else had this information. So, as we like to say on TikTok, he fucked around and he's about to find out. Because police take this very seriously. And I take this very seriously. Absolutely, absolutely hot pink. So, we will see what happens this week. And, I will know more tomorrow when I go to the police department and I upload the rest of my documents and speak with the officer involved. But I know that, what we were waiting for is, number one, to see if my information actually comes out. And not only did it come out, but it came out in his live. And number two, we were waiting for an address. And we got it now. So, Jen is stronger, just dropped a gift. Thank you. So, there it is.
She's actually taking food out of my hand now.
And he's sitting there talking about his cat, which I'm glad he's doing that. Because that cat better find a good home pretty soon.
Not putting it on him anymore. It is a roast, a pork roast.
That's not true, Jessica.
Most of the day.
What will happen is this. The police, if you get doxxed in another, a person does it that lives in another state,
She's been fucking chilling.
what will happen is my police department will file charges. And they will contact the police down where he is. And they will take care of that down there. I just have to find out, does he pick up charges in Texas or does he pick up charges in Connecticut? That's what I have to clarify. If he does catch the charges, then we will take it from there. I'm not going to, thank you, Jen, you too. I'm not going to get a lawyer. I don't need a lawyer. I would say that he probably will need to get somebody because he's the one who he's the one that's catching charges. I'm not. So, I wish him good luck. I don't know if you noticed today all afternoon he was using his very calm voice and he was using his oh woe is me voice. So he started this morning swearing and yelling, and then he got calm. He spoke to Unstable. My stuff was posted. And after that, he was very calm, and he was pretty much deflecting what happened. He kept saying, these people have said such horrible things about me, trying to deflect the fact that what he just did was criminal and trying to make it look as if the stuff that I've done to him is at the same level of criminality, which it's not.
Was that good?
So he's going to be in some trouble. Absolutely. He's going to be in some trouble, and he can act off right now. Prior to him, I don't know if it was before or after the doxing, he said that I gave Tiff his email address.
I don't give a shit.
Which I did not.
People got copies of it. That's all that fucking matters.
I did not give Tiff his email address.
When they get called out on shit.
See what he's saying? When they get called out on shit. There's a difference between calling somebody out on shit and doxing their personal information. He sees them as equal. He sees himself being called a beggar, people saying he has no neck, all that kind of stuff. he thinks that that is just as bad as putting someone's personal information out there. And that's what he keeps saying. He keeps falling back on that, which he's completely wrong about.
Was not habanero, no. Was not habanero, it's Cajun. It would have been better if it was habanero. I haven't got that yet.
But that's what he thinks. He thinks it's in the same category, and that's how he's been deflecting everything today. You know, he denied knowing what happened. He denied doing it yet again. How he can deny that, I don't know, because he's the only one who had the information. So he can keep saying that. I know who did it. You know, and if there needs to be, if that needs to be looked into, it will be. But you know, he's in some trouble. He is definitely in some trouble.
Yeah, I sent you pictures of it. But this is what I used.
Exactly, Fliz. But see, that's the thing. He considers that borderline harassment and bullying online.
It was decent. It was pretty good. I had some potato and some onion and carrot.
So he is on right now talking about, you know, what he had for dinner because his mod sent him money.
She's using the litter box.
He got a crock pot.
$15 for fucking.
He got He got food today from one of his mods, and they're still enabling him. Many of the people that are in there now talking to him know that he doxed me today in the live, and they're still in there supporting him. Which to me, I just don't get it. I do not get it. Because I'm sure if any of those people in there had their full name and their personal address and all that put in there, they would be rip shit right now.
No, I don't have a garbage disposal.
Nah, sunflower. You know, with legal fees, I don't really
looking for a certain kind.
I don't really think I'm gonna need it because I'm not
right.
I'm not filing civil charges on him.
Simple.
I'm not filing civil charges on him. The police are going to be filing criminal charges on him. So